I don't know if this is going to be saved. I have no idea how YouTube Live works, but I'm here for it. I want to try this thing out. I'm trying to push my YouTube as much as I can because it's actually kind of fun. For years, I've wanted to start a YouTube channel, never knew what to talk about. I've attempted. I'm not going to give you the names because they are still active channels. I just don't do anything with them. But for the longest time, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So here I am. I got several episodes of the podcast up. I've done some shorts. I've done some random things. And now I'm live. So, I'm grateful that I can actually do this. And it's not as hard as I thought. Sometimes, hey, good morning, Coral. How are you? Sometimes I think we get stuck. The word I believe is, hey, D, what's going on? People are actually tuned in. This is kind of cool. I'm appreciating it, guys. There's something called paralysis from analysis. When you think too hard about something, you get stuck, you get stagnant, not knowing which way to go. But I heard a saying a long time ago. Sometimes you have to jump off the cliff and build your jump off the cliff and build your plane on the way down. So that's what I'm doing. I'm jumping off the cliff, and I used to have a fear of falling, but I think it was a fear of flying, right? And before I hit the ground, I'm going to get that plane constructed, and I'm going to soar. That's the plan. So with the Nuclear Dad Initiative, I just want to give dads a little bit of love. I want to give men a little bit of love. Not in that way. Don't get the wrong idea. But I don't see a lot of content curated for husbands and fathers, and that's really what it's about. I got two boys, and I guess the guys that are watching this already know this, but if this gets saved, I want people to get a little bit of the backstory. I'm married with children. I have two young boys, and my idea is to leave them a foundational blueprint on how this whole life thing works, because maybe they can have a better start than I had. Now, my dad was around, don't get me wrong, but he died when I was 24. So when my dad passed, I was still very much a knucklehead. I was in the streets. I was doing all kind of stupid stuff that I hope my children never do, and I wouldn't think about doing now because it was super risky, right? But I guess that's the some of the perks of being young. You feel invincible. You don't think about consequences of the potentiality of fatality and losing your life and losing your freedom. We don't think about that. We need. I was like chuckling too. Hey, thank you, sir, or ma'am. I'm sorry. Thank you, D. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but thank you. I appreciate that. Lets me know that what I'm doing is not going unnoticed, and I'm just going to keep plugging away. But yeah, my dad died when I was younger. Before I was married, before I had kids, I was still very much, I don't want to use the term man whore, but I wasn't super big on commitment. Donna, okay, thank you, Donna. I appreciate you. But yeah, so in the eventuality that I am not here when they need me at those critical times in life, because it happens for all of us. Parents don't stay around forever, and I want to leave them something to be able to tap into and get a little bit of foundation and a little bit of wisdom and help navigate them through this road of life, because there's no instruction manual to this thing. If you are a faith-based person, there's an acronym that was made up for the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. But not too many people are religious. Not too many people care about God or the Bible or any other holy scriptures. They look at what celebrities are talking about. And I don't want to be a celebrity, but I would like to have something out there for people who are searching. And every once in a while, I will let my listening audience know that I am Christ-centered. That is my foundation. Now, I strayed a lot in my younger days, but I came back. Because as the scripture says, raise a child up in the way he should go, and when he gets older, he won't depart, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but you guys know what I mean. So that's what it's about. It's about giving my boys, and whatever men are listening, because I am talking to men in 2022, but I feel like this may not be utilized until fully until 2042, until 2050. Maybe I won't be here. Maybe they'll be like, damn, what did Dad used to say when blah, 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 blah? Hey, you know what? He's got all these videos. He's got all of this content. He's got these books. And my videos will be saved and archived. Yeah, we all, absolutely. And we never listened at the time when our parents were trying to tell us stuff. It's like, I never talk about my daughter. My daughter just turned 18. And it's not that I don't care about my daughter, but the stuff that I'm dropping is for my boys. Now, I've done what I can do, what I was supposed to do for her. But at this point, she's 18. So it's like between the ages of 14 and like 22, kids are stupid. They just don't hear anything. And I was the same way. And she used to do stuff, and I would know what she was going to do before she did it. Or I would tell my wife, she's doing X, Y, Z. She'd be like, how do you know? Because I did it. Now, she's not biologically mine, but I'm in the picture. I've been around for 8 years. And I tell my wife, I was a lot wilder when I was younger. A lot wilder than my wife was, because my wife's father was a police officer. So he kept her on a tight leash. My father was not a police officer. My father was a guy from North Philly. If anybody knows about North Philly is a dangerous place. So my dad was the original Mr. Danger, right? Like, now he was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He worked, took care of his family, but he grew up rough. He grew up in the era of, you know, when the civil rights movement came around, he was grown. Yeah, kids are crazy, man. I don't know what it is. It's is it the frontal lobe, whatever part of the brain that isn't developed at that age, they just don't get it, but they will. You think they're not listening, but they are. It just comes back later on in life. And you got to give them a little bit of grace during this time, because they're learning. They're trying to figure this life thing out. And the last thing they want is to hear us. There you go. You understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. My dad was from Seltzer Street, not too far from Allegheny. But, you know, he was a North Philly cat, but he was born in the 40s. So I remember I was probably like 10. And I don't know if anybody remembers the movie Panther, but it was about the Panthers, but it was from a black perspective, right? Because I think Mario Van Peebles directed it. But I remember saying to my dad, if I was alive back then, I would have been a Panther. And he said, you would have been a fool. And I was like, why? You know, they had the free lunch program. They did, yeah, she'll change at 25. For her, maybe it'll be 30. Well, hopefully, I'm praying. But he said you would have been a fool. And I was like, you know, I thought I knew what I knew. And I'm like, but, you know, they did all this good stuff for the community. And he said, anybody can be a tough guy when they're around a bunch of people with guns. He said, it takes a real man to be strong by himself. And since then, I ain't had no friends. Now, I had people that I was associated with, had people that I was close with, but I knew when I was out in the street, if I was doing something, I was going to do it by myself. Because the last thing I wanted was for him to say, how did you let them get you into this? I would rather him say, boy, what did you do? Why did you go out here and do X, Y, Z? Thankfully, I never got caught up. But, you know, I had other role models. So my father was the straight and narrow role model, right? Then I had some uncles and cousins that was crazy wild. And they were my street influences. And they taught me other stuff. They taught me gave me jail stories and taught me about survival on the street. And my dad taught me about what being a man really is about. So I had both of those foundations. If you've ever seen a movie called A Bronx Tale, it's about this little Italian boy named Calogero. And his dad was a bus driver. And the bar down the street from his house was like the hangout spot for all the gangsters. He started working at the bar. Parents didn't know. He was like 10, had a bankroll. Eventually, he got caught up in some stuff, and then he got out before it was too late. He was with his buddies, and they were in a car on their way to do something, and he got out the car. Almost like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Boys in the Hood. When they was about to take that ride, he said, Doe boy, let me out the car. Calogero was the same way. I say all that to say, when I first saw Bronx Tale, I thought somebody got my life story, because my first job was at a bar when I was 10, around gangsters. Now, I used to press this guy every day. Can I get a job? 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 And he was like, every day, same thing. Boy, you're too young to work. You can't work here. It's a bar, and kids aren't allowed in here. So one day, I got tired of him saying no. And I said, and I pointed. I said, you see those guys over there on the corner? He said, yeah. I said, if you don't give me a job, they will. Lehigh, shout out to Lehigh. I told him, if you don't give me a job, they will. And he looked at me, and I guess he saw the sincerity. I really just guilted him. Because I'm like, you don't want to be responsible for me going down the wrong path this early in life. And he said, when can you start? And I said, today. He said, all right, come back tomorrow. So I get there the next day. He said, what are you going to do at the bar? I said, I don't know, sweep up, take out trash, mop floors, wipe tables, whatever. I just need a job. And he hired me. And I was making $10 under the table a day, 5 days a week. $50 when you're 10 years old a week is a lot of money. And my mom didn't find out about it. My dad never knew. My mom didn't find out until Christmas of 2019. It came out when I was drinking. And I had gotten married the year before in 2018. We were talking about the wedding. And I said, yeah, James was there. James gave me my first job. And she was like, what job? I said, I used to work at the bar. She was like, what bar? I was like, the bar that James managed. I thought James was the owner. He was just a manager. And he was super cool. He was fly. He always had the fedoras. If anybody's, now you guys have not, you don't know about my old Instagram. But yeah, I love that movie. It's like looking in a time capsule of the past. But the way James dressed reminded me of the way my father dressed. It was that old school 1970s fedora with a nice collar shirt, some pressed slacks, and some nice shoes. That's my style. Even though you guys never see it, I got an old Instagram where I was I used to be a semi-professional male model. The smile helped. Yeah. But that's how I like to dress. And when I go around my wife's family for like holidays and stuff, they're surprised if I don't have on a hat. I was at a function in the summer, and one of her aunts walked up to me, and she whispered, she pulled me to the side, she said, next time I see you, I expect to see you with a hat on. Old ladies like it. But I digress. Growing up in that time around those men gave me the foundation of who I am today. And I remember at one point when I was caught up in the whole conscious community, new age stuff, I wanted multiple wives. And then I found out one headache is enough. But what it really was about was I wanted boys. I wanted a lot of boys. And now I got these two, and I'm like, listen, 2 is enough. But I don't mind mentoring and dropping some jewels on the young men that I see, that I come across all the time, even at work. You know, sometimes I get male clients that are 20, 25, 26, 30. I'm always dropping jewels. I'm always giving game. But it's because I always wanted to be around boys. Growing up, I was the only kid I knew with a father. Now, there were like mythical tales of, yeah, so-and-so's got a dad, but we ain't seen him since 2 Christmases ago. But my dad was there, like I'm there, 24/7. And I think kids used to hang out with me just because they wanted to see if I had a dad. They were like, dads are real. Ernest got one. And the kids would always be at my house. It does take a village. But every village needs a chief, right? And that's what I am to my family. Yeah, I used to want a lot of wives, Coral. And then I realized, one's enough. One is enough. And I'm happy with who I got. But the advantageous part about that is because of what I do for a living, 90% of my clients are females. So I get that female attention. I talk to women all day. That's why I know what I know about women. And when I was a freshman in high school, Sex and the City came out, the TV show. And I was the only kid I knew in the 9th grade that was watching Sex and the City. And I would tell my friends, I'd be like, yo, y'all watch Sex and the City? They'd be like, no, we watch Sopranos. Like, I watch that too, but you need to watch Sex and the City. They'd be like, why? Ain't that a girl show? I'm like, dude, these old white bros are some freaks. It was like the white version of Girlfriends. Now, in Girlfriends, everybody thought William was gay. William wasn't gay, he was smart. William was the smartest dude on TV. He was around all them girls, soaking up all that game. But I've always loved being around women. I've been around women my whole life, but I've also been around men, which is why I understand and appreciate women probably more than a lot of guys I know. I got laughed at when I was younger because I would have all these girlfriends, and they would be like, how you around these girls? You ain't getting no, and I'm like, dude, I don't want it from them. Like, I'm soaking up game. They didn't get it. But I was like 12, 13, 14, hanging around girls. And what dude wants to be around a bunch of dudes all the time? That's weird. Like, I had 1 or 2 solid homies growing up that I was always with. Other than that, I was around the girls. I've always been around the girls. It's just something that it's like poetry in motion, right? Something soft next to you, near you, laying in the bed with you. I don't know, man. I love women. So that's why I wanted the multiple wives. But now I'm good now. I'm happy with Baby Cakes. She get on my nerves. I ain't even smiling. But I love her. Then who knows if she'll actually watch this, because I don't think she actually watches my YouTube. She watches my TikTok, but that's because she's nosy. She's like, how come you always say trigger warning? Because I'm like, yo, you don't read the comments and you don't see the messages I get. People get triggered. I'm talking to men, and then I got women telling me what I should be saying. Then I got single dudes telling me what I should be saying. And I'm not a ladies' man. I'm not a ladies' man. I just like women. I'm not a player. I never have been. I've always been completely honest. Like, if I was seeing multiple women, I just let them know. Sing that Michael Jackson song. You are not alone. There's other ladies in the picture. But it's not something that happened for a long time. But I've always been super. I mean, my name is Ernest. Ernest is honest. I can't be anything but honest. That's just who I am. But I'm looking at the clock. Looking at my rollie, it's about that time. No, I do not have a rollie. Back in the day, maybe when I was a rapper. But no, I got to get to work. I'm normally supposed to be in at 9:30, but I didn't have a client. I didn't have a 9:30 client. So I'm about to go set up and get my day started. So I don't know if this live will get saved, but thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I just planned on talking to the screen. So I appreciate the feedback. Now I understand why Kim gets caught up when she does those lives, because she's reading the comments and she's doing her doot. Certain people understand what I'm talking about. If you're not in the club, don't worry about that. But I understand why Kim gets caught up. That's right. But that's Ernest with an A, E-A-R. But yeah, I'm not going to do with Kim. I'm not going to get caught up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have a good day at work. I will try to do the same. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Nuclear Dad, out.